if you don't shift how you view trading wins and losses, there will be no amount of discipline that you can, I guess, like apply that will help control your emotions and stop you from wrecking your P&L, your account, and your consistency. So I guess that leads us to the question, how do I redefine or reframe trading wins and losses? If you are going like the unprofitable route, right, or the volatile route, you are defining it based on the outcome of the trade, which is profit or loss, how much money you made or how much money you lost. So in order to smoothen out that volatility and to have more staying power in this infinite game, what you want to do is you want to base those wins and losses and base your emotions on your execution, right? Like on the process, your controllables, like when did you enter? When did you exit? How much risk that you put on the trade? Anything that you can control, that is the best bet to have staying power and have like emotional and psychological stability that will keep you in the trading game as long as possible. Okay. So of course you're going to hear me give the generic answer, which is thinking probabilities. Don't think of the outcome of every individual trade, but think of the outcome of a large sample size, right? Like the next 1,000 trades. But then nobody actually teaches you how to think in probabilities because by default, innately, we always are going to think outcome based, or we're always going to think about the result, because what does all of this matter if we don't get the results that we're looking for? And to answer my own question, it's the love of the game. Right. And that's how you become great. You have to love the game. And to love the game, you have to love the process. And to love the process, you have to love the journey. Like all of these things are tied in together. Right. So when you trade, trading is just such a huge paradox because the more that you try to trade for money, the less money you actually make. You have to want to trade because you want to be a great trader, because you love the activity of trading, because this is something that you want to do. One of those things where if you didn't get paid, would you do it? Right. And once you treat it like that, you're going to see a huge difference and just better results when you focus on the things that you can control. So the trading results are just going to follow how you act and how you execute. It's just one big mirror, right? We can't worry about the randomness or the uncertainty or the gambling aspect of trading because if we sit here and we base our emotions on that, then it's going to be a crazy ride. It's going to be a lot of mental turmoil, trauma, and it's just not going to be fun. But if we base it on things that we can actually do, like our execution, that's something to take pride in. And that's when you render the best result. So the question goes, how do I think in probabilities, right? Like, how do I do that when naturally, innately, I am human? I am outcome based. I am results based. I do things for a desired outcome. Like I said, number one is to love the game. But to actually adopt the probabilistic thinking, you have to backtest 1,000 times. I'm gonna just say it, right? You're just gonna backtest. You're gonna have a trading plan, and you can look at my previous videos about how to make a trading plan step by step. So once you make a trading plan, you have to backtest it at least 1,000 times. And the reason why you have to do it so extensively, because you have to be able to experience and witness the probabilities play out. Meaning, you have to see what a perfect execution look like over and over and over and over again, and witness the random outcomes with the same flawless execution on your end. And then once you witness those random outcomes or the random distribution between wins and losses, then you'll be able to witness and experience that over a large sample size, you were profitable the entire time. So the reason why you become fearful or greedy or any type of emotion that derives from those two based on trading results is because you're insecure. And the reason why you're insecure is because you're not properly prepared. And how do you become properly prepared? You have to backtest at least 1,000 times on one time frame using one setup. That's the answer. And what happens during this process of backtesting 1,000 times is, number one, you start to gain tunnel vision. So what does that mean? When you are trading the same setup 1,000 times, any other pattern that the market forms or anything like any type of everything else is noise basically. So any other pattern that the market forms, you're not going to be able to see. You're only going to be able to see that one setup every single time. You're going to have tunnel vision, right? So that improves your consistency, which is the whole purpose of all of this. You never want to pursue perfection. You want to pursue consistency. You never want to pursue profitability. You want to pursue consistency. So when you backtest 1,000 times, you're going to have tunnel vision. You're only going to see that one trade, and you are naturally going to block out the noise. The second thing is you're going to experience loss on a perfectly executed trade time and time again, and be okay with it, because at the end of the session, you'll see how much you've profited versus how much you've lost. And once you get that P&L ratio, you're going to start looking at losses like investments. So if you do 1,000 trades and, and I'll use my example, I average about $3.20 for every $1 loss. But once I got to a point when I realized that every $1 loss actually turns into $1 invested, then my perspective changes. Because if I invest, i.e. loss, well, I don't think I use the word, but if I invest, or if you want to call it a loss, $1, I'm making $3.20 back. That's a profitable business, and that's an investment, right? As long as I stick to my plan, as long as I keep my risk the same. So you begin to view losses as investments after a while. The third thing is you'll begin to develop, if X happens, then I will do Y, very quickly in your head. So if this happens, then I'll do that, right? And no matter what the outcome is, I did what I was supposed to do, and I'm going to leave it up to probabilities. And I've witnessed how probabilities work. And the fourth thing is expected losses. Once you've backtested so extensively to a point where you've done 1,000 trades, you will begin to see losses that are expected on your end. Like I said, I expect to lose $1 for every $3.20 that I made. So therefore, losses actually have a positive role in my trading plan, right? Like, in order for me to get to this $3.20, I have to invest or lose $1. So I've given losses a positive role in my plan, which makes them more of an ally than something to be feared, than something to be angry about. Okay. And that right there is a whole game changer in and of itself. And the last thing that I've learned from backtesting so extensively is you will understand market irrationality relative to your plan. Meaning, if you take your setup and your execution was flawless, right? And you get stopped out. And then you take another setup that is completely the same, like the same setup, right? And you have another opportunity and you get stopped out again. At that point, the market is being irrational relative to your setup, okay? You didn't do anything wrong. Don't blame yourself. There's nothing you could have done. At the end of the day, and people might get mad at this, but trading is gambling. We're just being responsible while we do it, right? Yeah, and the reason why it is gambling, because gambling, by definition, is when you put up something of value for a random outcome. End of story. You're putting up money for an outcome that you cannot control. Does that mean that you're going to lose every time? No. Does that mean that you don't have an edge? No. It just means just what I said. You're putting up something of value to gain something of value, in hopes of gaining something of value, but there's an uncertainty aspect to it, like the outcome is random, and that's gambling. Okay, so these are all the things that actually go into thinking in probabilities. I'm sure there's a few things that I've missed. If there's anything that you know of that I missed, go ahead and put it in the comment section, and I'll see you tomorrow.